Trepang2 is a game I have a lot to say about. Fear, the game it's largely based on, is one of my all-time favorites. I've been anxiously awaiting the release of Trepang2 ever since the first demo, which I did not play. I saw it, immediately knew it was right up my alley, and decided to wait until it came out. I'm glad I did, because the initial joy of returning to Fear's combat does a lot for this game. If I had already spoiled it by playing the demo, I think I would be less satisfied with it. Because I am kinda unsatisfied. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but still a game I ultimately enjoyed and would recommend. The combat is really good, the guns feel amazing, the effects and graphics and gore are impressive. It's great. I'm not going to get into that stuff too much here though. Instead, I want to talk about the core mechanics of Trepang2 and how great they are when they work and how not great they are when they don't. As I sometimes do, I'm just going to refer you to G-Man's review if you want a more general look at the game. He covers combat, weapons, levels, music, story, interactivity. It's a good review. If that's what you're looking for, that's the video to watch. Here, we're going to dig into some specifics that I think hold this game back. With 6 difficulty settings available, I went with number 4, very hard, just to feel it out. You can actually pick a difficulty before starting each mission, which is quite nice. Disappointingly, there is no information on what difficulty settings affect. Do you take more damage? Are enemies spongier? Are there fewer resources? Is the AI smarter or more aggressive? Do your powers burn out quicker? Who knows, and I'm not going to play on a bunch of different difficulties and spend hours making measurements. I'll just say for me, a moderately skilled FPS veteran and a fan of Fear, Very Hard was for the most part a solid combat experience, with a few significant difficulty spikes that really had me paying attention and mastering my tools, and dying a lot. You have the classic Fear reflex ability, here called Focus, and it's the star of the game. Slow down time to take out a group of bad guys, use it to avoid damage, or just toggle it quickly to get one guy and save the rest for later. You also have a cloaking ability, which turns out to be much more important than I expected. It's great for escaping imminent death, so you can find some cover, sneaking around someone to take a hostage, which can cause enemies to hold their fire, and Cloak is just a general useful method of avoiding damage. Your health regenerates, but only a sliver. I think that's fair for a game with so much chaos and no active healing mechanic like Fear had. Cloaking really is your ticket out of a bad situation when everyone is ganging up on you and spraying machine guns in your general direction from a distance. I lost count of how many times I got locked down under suppressing fire and it felt like I couldn't move. Cloaking for just a second or two to change positions became incredibly important. So these are your 2 abilities, but they do not recharge in the same way. Cloaking regens automatically and fairly quickly. You'll almost always have a few seconds of cloak ready to go at any moment, and thank God. But the focus bar is recharged manually, which is a huge change from how Fear did it. The reflex ability in Fear recharged over time, which is a contributing factor in it breaking the balance. Fear is actually a much more fun game to replay without slow-mo because of that. And in Trepang2, if you could just hide for a bit or run around in circles until you had more focus, this game would easily fall apart. Fortunately, focus only recharges by attacking enemies. With a few kills under your belt, you'll restore a bit of focus. Use it for a quick slow-mo tactic, or keep killing to charge up a lot and then unleash an all-out slow-mo assault on everyone in the room. It's a wonderful change that holds the player accountable and rewards offense and smart tactical decision-making. I'm very happy with it. However, I'm far less happy with the stamina system because I feel it's confused. I'm not against the game having stamina. I do love the idea of killing enemies giving you a stamina boost. So if you're always in the action, you're never out of stamina. Super cool mechanic. But there's 2 things that are just killing me. First, there are plenty of sections where there's no combat. In the campaign levels and at the base, which is your hub world. There's nothing to do here but run to the mission select screen and run back to the helicopter, and you awkwardly run out of stamina on the way. Maybe they could have made stamina something you only deal with in combat scenarios. It reminds me of Nightmare of Decay, where they updated the game to remove stamina from areas you've already cleared to make backtracking less tedious. Going from actively managing stamina in combat to constantly suffering from its limitations when not in combat is what makes the whole thing feel confused. And the second point is that there's a horrible, horrible bug where if you press left or right with the run key and then press forward, you don't run. I'll break this down a bit for you. You cannot strafe run, which is fine, but you can run forward into the side by pressing both a side direction and forward. If you press forward plus run and then left or right, you run diagonally. If you walk forward and then start walking diagonally and then press run, you run diagonally. If you walk to the side and then press forward and then press run, you run diagonally. But if you walk to the side and press run before pressing forward, the run command does not register. This also happens if you press run first and then move to the side and then press forward. In both situations, the run command is forgotten, and you're left slowly walking diagonally even though you're holding the run key. It leads to incredibly frustrating moments where you swear you're supposed to be running, but you aren't. Just because you were strafing around before you started trying to run, you can't run. I'd say 20% of my deaths were caused by this bug. Please, please, please fix this. How does something like this go unnoticed 3 years after the demo came out? So, on the topic of things feeling confused, I want to discuss the weapon carry number and the modification system. For a game so inspired by fear and significantly ramping up the action and the number of enemies on screen, and the variety of enemy types, it's baffling to me that they would reduce the weapon number from 3 to 2. I simply do not understand this limitation. 3 was a good number in Fear. You could have a shotgun for close encounters, an assault rifle or SMG because they're fun, effective, and versatile, and then keep a pistol on you for emergencies, or a sniper rifle, or the penetrator. Combat always felt very expressive because of this. In Trepang2, only having 2 weapons severely impacted my enjoyment and experimentation. I mean, I'm not gonna put down this shotgun, it's too good, it's too fun, so I can only pick up 1 other weapon from the other 6 or however many there are. Okay, well, a shotgun and a DMR pretty much cover my every need, but man, if I could just hold 1 more weapon, I would at least pull it out here and there out of a sense of curiosity and improvisation. It's so bizarre to me that they would do it this way. But a 2-weapon limit absolutely can work if it has the systems to support it that push experimentation. Halo is the perfect example. Yeah, you only have 2 weapons in Halo, but in Halo you run out of ammo on the battlefield and you run around picking up other weapons to improvise with. And yes, this happens in Trepang2 as well, sometimes, but some of you may remember a little game called Halo Infinite that completely broke the Halo combat loop by 1. Allowing you to pick a fully stocked weapon of your choice before every mission, and 2, most importantly, scattering ammo boxes around the map, allowing you to refill the ammo of your preferred weapon. Now, instead of being pushed into experimentation through ammo limits, you can just run around with the same 2 guns of your preference the whole time and approach every mission the same way. I never put down the battle rifle because I never had to. I guess people like this kind of player freedom, but I will never understand the appeal. It allows for homogenization of gameplay on a level that's just sad. Trepang2 does the same thing. You can pick whatever weapons you want before every mission, and every mission is mostly keeping you stocked, whether it's ammo drops in combat, the eventual abundance of weapon boxes, where yes, you can find other weapons to use, but you can just as easily find a full ammo refill for the gun you've been depending on for the past hour, or side mission weapon boxes, where you can use credits to refill guns at any moment, before, after, or even during combat rounds. I wouldn't have as much of a problem with this if you could just hold a 3rd weapon, keeping my primaries stocked and switching out a 3rd depending on its utility and my own ideas for playing around and experimenting. But only having 2 weapon slots and allowing me to refill ammo so liberally, it's just Halo Infinite all over again. Occasionally I ended up in situations where I had to throw down my shotgun and pick up a rifle with only 30 bullets, use it up, and then grab something else, and these were some of the best moments I had. They're just so few and far between because the game seems dead set on making sure I'm as comfortable as possible. It's so weird because Fear regularly had me in situations where I gotta set down that low ammo penetrator or assault rifle because picking up a new gun with full ammo is a more advantageous position going forward. It's sad to see that kind of design get pushed aside in a spiritual sequel. I'm not saying I didn't have fun or experiment in the sandbox. I did. I like this combat. There's good challenge and excitement to be had, but it certainly isn't as well designed as Fear regarding weapon variety incentive. I feel locked into things too often because of these limitations, and it applies to grenades as well. There are 6 different equipment types: frag grenades, flashbangs, firebombs, proximity mines, rat bombs, and tomahawks. But in another baffling design decision, you're not allowed to carry more than one type. I can run around with 5 frag grenades, which is nice, but I'd much rather have access to a smaller number of 2 or 3 different equipment types, to give myself more dynamic strategy options, like you see in Halo, like you see in The Division, like you see in Resistance Fall of Man, like you see in Doom Eternal. Hell, like in Fear, you could hold 3 different grenade types in Fear and use any of them at any time: frag grenade, proximity mine, and remote bomb. Why couldn't we have that? I don't understand how the developers didn't think that setting down a proximity mine to cover your exit and then throwing a flashbang into the next room wouldn't create more fun moment-to-moment gameplay. And another part of the problem is the modification system. Whereas Fear's weapons were static, Trepang2 allows for weapon customization through upgrade parts found in little bits of exploration and completing side missions. Now, I love the connection between side missions and weapon upgrades. Not only are these fun, action-packed, wave-based challenges, but you get something from it that applies to the main campaign. Great. Unfortunately, I think it just contributes to the confusion because when you customize and upgrade a weapon in a video game, is it not because you like that weapon and want to hold on to it? This isn't Borderlands. I can only hold 2 weapons. I've got an incendiary round shotgun that destroys everyone, and a rifle with a laser sight and a 2x scope. I'm shredding over here, and yeah, that grenade launcher is really cool, but after I use it, I'm gonna have to remember where I dropped one of my modded weapons and come back to get it. It's a weird position to be in. Or if, say, my incendiary round shotgun runs out of ammo and there's no shotgun ammo in the next room, normally I'd be okay just dropping the shotgun to use another weapon for a while, and that's fun, but the next shotgun I find isn't going to have the incendiary mod, and I don't want to lose it, so I guess I'll just be running around the next areas with an empty shotgun for a while. See what I mean? These systems don't work together. Isolated, they are good systems, but together they end up working against each other, and it ends up making Trepang2 a much less interesting combat experience than I wanted it to be. It's awesome, don't get me wrong. Slow motion sliding under a guy and blasting him in the air as he flies around in mid-2000s physics engine madness is really fun. Movement and vaulting is fast and snappy. Loading times are lightning fast and you get right back to the action almost immediately. While the campaign isn't exactly compelling, I do enjoy the level variety, as that was one of the flaws in Fear. The whole thing was basically just office environments. I love that enemies all drop a small shard of armor to incentivize you to run or slide over their corpses and stay in the action. I love that grabbing enemies lets you use their grenade by throwing their body and watching it explode. I'm happy that checkpoints don't refill your health, so you find yourself in tough situations that you gotta overcome. It's awesome that slides and jump kicks don't cancel reload animations. I appreciate that the missions are more than just key hunting and switch hitting. You gotta shoot to destroy stuff sometimes, or throw bodies into generators and they explode. It's good stuff, it works. I'd like to replay the game, and I would if it didn't force me to delete my profile. Yeah, no profiles, just the one. How does that make it past the testers to a full release? I like having my completed save because I can replay any level I want, including side missions, and set the difficulty. Why would I give that up just to start a fresh save? Again, weird decisions, like the customizable appearance options. There's no multiplayer, and I don't think I saw a single reflective surface where I can even see myself, so what's the point? Maybe I missed something here, I'm sure you'll let me know. Alright, that's all I have to say. Again, I like Trepang2, it'll be in my best games of the year list for sure. I'm just also disappointed by it. And instead of reviewing the whole package like everyone else does, I wanted to really pick apart some of the issues I think it has that I don't hear people discussing. What did you think? Did you like Trepang2? Do you see yourself replaying it, or is it more of a one and done sort of thing? Like, subscribe, ring the bell, catch the latest episode of Mayo Movie Club. See you later.